Hey everyone, welcome to the Intelligent Product Solutions interview series on great partnerships in product design. We're so glad you're joining us. I'm Rachel Aponte, your host, and today I'm here with John Leavitt, who is a Senior Industrial Designer here at IPS. Welcome, John. Nice to be here with you.
Hi, it's good to see you again.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Tell me, John, has the pandemic changed your relationship to your work or how you go about doing things?
Well, I think it has in certain ways and it hasn't in others. So as a member of the IPS team here, we've worked remotely since before the pandemic. And, even when I was like a contract employee back when I first started 5+ years ago, I was working remotely for the most part then. And IPS, the infrastructure set up so that, people can work remotely. I often travel. Well, I used to often travel to go see clients, but I'd be able to remote into my workstation in the office, have all the files and kind of infrastructure that I needed to be able to work remotely at a client's office without really much of a problem. And I think having the infrastructure set up really helped, carry on efficiency for my team and myself at least, so that when we did have to transition to working at home, it was a lot smoother than some of the stories I've heard from other people.
Yeah, it's been quite a change. I think everyone's world has been turned upside down. So tell me, have you or your team developed any new routines that have been comparable to in the past?
So I think because we're not in the same room, right? We're not in the office. We have made it kind of a cognizant decision to reach out to people more frequently. And we have like daily meetings, and we have daily, like we use Slack a lot more with each other and stuff like that. So something like even before the pandemic, like with meetings and stuff like that, sometimes I would call into Zoom meetings that were in the office, and not out of like, oh, I don't have time to be there. When you get a meeting full of like 10 people, that's a lot of time that's being spent dedicated to that one thing. And if I don't not 100% engaged in that meeting and I'm not leading that meeting, they don't need my input percent of the time. So I used to even like Zoom call into a conference room at IPS, and then provide feedback or input when I needed, and I could continue doing my work at my workstation. But that kind of stuff is actually kind of a positive. So you had like the efficiency of working, remotely is that you can kind of multitask, and you can kind of find your own rhythm of your own efficiency.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Okay. So this next question can be pandemic or non-pandemic related. Have any of your customers or coworkers asked you to participate in a situation or setting that you felt uncomfortable with? And if so, how did you handle it?
No, I mean, from the beginning, IPS has been very aware of different people's different levels of comfort, especially with the pandemic. And I mean, I've never been in a situation with IPS that I've been uncomfortable in, but I think it was really cool to see the leadership at IPS. You send out a survey. I think it was maybe the first week that we were shut down. They sent out a survey that had everybody provide their feedback with the of like how comfortable or uncomfortable they'd be with different scenarios, just to get a general idea of where everybody stood, and then continue to provide feedback and updates beforehand, and give people a lot of understanding of what the company's actions were going to be during a kind of uncertain situation. Because I think the least amount of uncertainty that I felt through the pandemic has been, thinking about what my company is going to be doing and around like my job and stuff like that. So IPS has done almost everything they can possibly do to alleviate any kind of uncertainty about what direction the company's taking.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It's been really, really good. Good for us. Okay, so without naming any names, please describe the ideal product design client.
This one's hard because we have so many amazing clients, but I think the best client is one that you have a healthy relationship with. It's like founded in trust. And that's not as much about like, not as much on the client end, but rather how a reflection of how we've engaged with them and established a pattern of accountability and proficiency that they can trust. So I think that the return customers tend to be some of my favorite customers because they know who they're working with, and they're not as I guess tied up or kind of protective as some new clients can be.
Because that trust has been built up from past
Yeah,
experience.
so they know who they're working with, that trust has been established. But if you want to have a good client, you have to be a good consultant. So that's
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes both ways, right? I mean, we've got
oh
to
yeah.
be easy to work with and trustworthy as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, trustworthiness is super huge because you know it's really important to have accountability and really good communication to be able to set expectations, and then communicate, like especially when something isn't probably the most optimal scenario. If
Mhm.
in the world of research and development, things take time and unexpected things arise, and it's sometimes out of the control of anybody involved. But when something is not good news, it's better to tell them as soon as possible so that they're not surprised later on by it.
Absolutely. So vital. Communication. So trust and
Oh
communication.
yeah, trust and communication. Yeah.
So very important. Okay, so tell me, what part of your work keeps you most challenged and most on your toes?
So I think it's the variety of different projects that IPS takes on that's different than the other companies I've worked at before, where we're either coming up with a single product line, or we're coming out, or we're maintaining a line of products that are in manufacturing. So instead of just doing refreshes on the same type of products, IPS is approaching all different types of products, and that keeps you learning. So you have to become an expert in a new product category, and sometimes there's a really steep learning curve, and you're like, whoa, okay, but then it's really rewarding when you figure it out, and you've gained that knowledge, and you're able to provide a solution that's really nice.
What makes work fun for you?
Well, we have a team of people who are excited about problem solving and creating solutions for our clients, and working with people that are excited about the same stuff is what really makes it fun to me. We're all really just all a bunch of nerds together. So, you know, it makes it fun because it's what we're all passionate about. And the only time it can be unfun is when the scope of a project changes really quickly, or the scope of what we're supposed isn't really clear, and then there's kind of frustration around that.
Yeah,
But that can happen, and sometimes it's part of it. But as soon as we're able to narrow in on something, then we all get to work and we have a lot of fun. Plus, there's always like the social encounters, and that's like kind of something that I probably miss the most, like working from home, is
Mhm.
the random work encounters, that you walk in, random conversations, ping pong games, stuff like that we can't do now, but
Oh,
hopefully.
I know. It's such a bummer.
Yeah.
And I've worked remotely for the most part. This past 4 years I've been at IPS, but whenever I come in, I always enjoy those kitchen talks.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got one more question for you. Because having and being good partners in designing products is so important to us at IPS, what steps do you take in your work to be a great partner for your clients, your coworkers, or your vendors?
Yeah, so yeah, this is super important stuff because I think that communication and accountability, like I said before, is probably the most important aspects of being a good team member
Yeah.
and to our clients. So like setting expectations that are realistic and following through with what we're going to do and kind
Mm,
of in the time frame that we're going to do it. That way we're able to establish that trust, and then once a client or team members, you have that trust established, everything seems to run and work a lot smoother. And it takes some time to establish trust, and you have to keep on your toes, because you can lose that trust pretty quickly if you don't keep up with that accountability and good communication. So because of the nature of like the innovative product development, I
mhm.
think it's important to communicate openly with your team and clients, especially if you know unexpected challenges arise. So, like I said before, it's like it's better to be very forthright and very honest with people. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that's like one of IPS's uh, tenets is straight talk, and that's by that we mean we're not going to exaggerate or minimize problems. We're going to try to characterize them in the best way we can, and we're a company that focuses on solutions. So problems aren't really that big of an obstacle to us, because we like problems and we solve them.
Awesome. How long have you been at IPS, John?
I've been at IPS 5 years as a full-time employee, and then probably like 6 months or so as a contractor before that.
Awesome.
And right now, like I can't imagine that, being anywhere else, because of like how great the team is,
Hmm.
from the new interns that are coming in up to the leadership of the company is just absolutely fantastic, and it's a really great group of people to work with.
I agree wholeheartedly. Well, thank you so much, John, for joining us and sharing your experiences. And thanks to you, our viewers and listeners as well. Please check out our website for more episodes in this series at intelligentproduct.solutions. That's intelligent product, one word, .solutions. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, so please look for us there too. Share your thoughts, comments, and feedback. We look forward to hearing from you.